So what's up, guys? This is Via with Via Talk, Conversation Without Limits. I'm so excited. I have my co-host today, Natty, and I also have a guest named Stina. Yes. And anyway, we're going to talk about her story. And I wanted to bring her here because if you're tired of your job, honey, she got some things to tell you. So go ahead, honey.
Hi, my name is Stina. I'm from Providence, Rhode Island. Long story short, I quit my corporate job last May, moved to Costa Rica, and now I own 3 of my own businesses.
Wow.
They're international companies.
Before we get into that, real quick, go ahead, Natty, introduce yourself.
My name's Natty B. I've been friends with Via for so long. She's like my older sister. Also Guatemalan. Shout out to Guatemala Coffee. It's really good, by the way.
I'm dying.
But a little bit about myself. I am 9 to 5. I work at the hospital in Boston. I'm an X-ray tech, and I also am a personal trainer. After work, I own my own business, Boston Fit Factory. And I do a little modeling, or I just get creative on the side. I also do music, but we're here to talk about.
Wow, I'm like so impressed. I've actually heard of the Boston Fit Factory. So
you might have heard of Fit Factory. That's different. I didn't hear about them until after. I'm Boston Fit Factory, but hey, if you heard of me,
I love that. Yay.
Okay, Stina, so let's get to you. So go ahead. Because you went snowball into it. So you quit your job.
So you're from Providence.
You're from Providence.
From Providence.
But before you even get into that, right? Mm-hmm. What kind of job are you doing?
Currently, right now?
No, before you quit.
Oh, so I've been in marketing my whole life, but the job that I left was overseeing a national construction agency.
Oh, wow.
And how long did you do that for?
I was there for about 4 years.
Before that?
Before that was marketing, traveling the country as a tour manager, brand ambassador, essentially any role model overseeing staff and being the leader of a campaign for any brand. It could be beverage, it could be food, sampling, it could be a new website.
Now, did you go to school for business marketing?
I did not. I went to school for interior design.
Oh my God, that's crazy. So see, kiddo, sorry. You don't always use your degree for everything. Right. But hey, the point is you still got a degree. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, where did you graduate from?
So I have a degree from New England Tech and Mount Ida College.
Nice.
And CCRI. I have 3 design degrees.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thanks.
Okay, so then you are in your job. Now, at what point are you like, that's it, I've had it, like this?
I think so. We had this one event every year that was top 5 out of hundreds of events that we did nationwide. And I ran the whole show. I think I brought in quadruple the amount of money they thought they were going to bring in from that event.
Wow.
And I didn't even get a good job. I didn't get, there was no acknowledgement of my event. Actually, we always had these weekly calls, and in the middle of the event, I got a phone call. You're doing great. Things are lovely. We just spoke about you at a national conference. You're doing so amazing. The end of the event comes. It wasn't even acknowledged how much money I brought in, the amount of hard effort that was put in, how I won us an award at that event. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I just spent like 10 months putting all this effort in to kind of just be shoulder shrugged. And that's when I was like, oh, maybe this isn't my forever job, because your forever job, I feel, shouldn't make you feel like shit at the end of the day.
Right.
So I think mentally, that's the day I checked out.
Wow. So let me ask you this. Yeah, because to me, the way I work, when if I'm going to do events or branding or marketing, I'm going to say, I want a percentage of, say, I don't know if it was liquor sales, or say if it was like, I don't know, ticket sales or something like that, right? So were you even able to negotiate?
No, there was no commissions for this job. It was a salary position. You did have expectations to meet. And there were tiny bonus structures involved if you hit those expectations. But with the taxes, you might as well have not have even gotten that bonus,
right.
To be quite honest.
How much do you think they made?
Oh my gosh, they made millions off of your
event.
Just that event.
Yeah, that 1 3-week event. I brought in like $1.8 million in sales for them.
Oh my God. Imagine if you even just got like 5% of that.
Oh, I know.
But no recognition.
I'm
oh my gosh.
If there was recognition, it was not what it should have been with all of the preparation I had to put into it.
Let me ask you this, because it's Women's Month, right? Do you think that if you were a man?
Oh, yes. The reason I left that job is because I'm a woman.
So because you think if you were a man doing the same exact thing, the same job, that you would have got recognized?
Yes. And
Promoted.
I will tell you, I was told if I was a man, I wouldn't have these problems.
What now?
Like,
what are these
we
problems?
haven't even gotten to the actual reason I left yet. But it was because I had gotten to a point where everything I was doing was doing so well, and it was being, again, nationally recognized. Oh, what you're doing is working. Let's change the protocol of how we do that. And it was that over and over and over again. And then some people came in and tried to change the structure and realized that, like, I was the one that was running the structure, not the actual people they thought that were running marketing. This little, like, girl out of Providence, Rhode Island was running the whole show. And I just don't think that they like that. They moved some things around, and it ended up just getting messy really, really fast. And when I had filed a complaint, I was told,
With
well,
HR?
you're a woman. What do you expect?
With HR?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Now, is this you don't got to say their name, but is this like a well-known construction company?
I thought that they were,
or is it like
but
a little business?
They're a nationwide company.
Oh, nation. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I will
That says a
not
lot.
talk about who it was,
Right.
because
Right.
that's not fair.
Right.
But it was a lesson well learned. I had put all of my eggs in that basket. That was my forever. And then it kind of just blew up in my face, and that's fine. I learned from it.
Let me ask you this. How many people do you think in United States, especially because we're like workhorses, work. How many people do you think put their eggs in the basket of their companies, right?
All of the time.
Right? How do you feel, Natty, about that?
I feel like it happens every day.
Even in your job?
Yeah. Even in my job, people just like, they think of, the benefits and how good it sounds, and, even just like the reputation of the company. And they just put all their eggs in a basket. Like, this is where I am. This is for life. But you get screwed in the back end sometimes.
That's also what we're taught, though. Like, we're taught, like, your job is your life. And if you have side things, they're not your main priority. Your main priority is what gets the food on the table, what provides whatever type of life you have for your family.
Right.
And I feel like no one lives authentically.
I see. I do.
You do. Yeah.
I've never had a job in my life ever. Even like when I had my daughter, I did things obviously, but like, and I've been independent contractor, I've done things, or even when I do like the hotel project, I'm hired to do a job. Right. But like, I've never had a job.
Right.
And so sometimes when I hear
so great.
people hear it, I'm like, when I hear them like, oh, they got to go to their job, I'm like, ooh, the thought of that makes my skin cringe.
Yes.
Like, ooh, you have to get up sometimes just to be a little biatch. I sip my coffee naked at my open screen patio.
It's a beautiful thing.
And it's on the beach, and I just be like, oh.
It's so great. This is why I think you're
the
amazing.
American dream.
It's so mean.
That is the American dream.
And I purposely naked because there's a street right there and there's lights. And I'm like, I wonder if they can see me naked.
Oh my God.
Wait. I wonder if it's sipping on me in Guatemala coffee, right?
Oh my God.
Right. And I do a little like, hey, right? Of course I have my bathrobe, like, maybe do a little drape so they can see a little slit. But I'm like, I can't imagine that. So but you're right. Like, and you seeing all these things on social media, and just like, or you see Elon Musk took his kids out, like traditional school and is not teaching us, it's teaching people to be sheep, right?
Yeah.
And it's teaching, you got to go to school, because if you even think about who is writing our, our curriculums, it's not really even teachers or creative people. It's always been executives who are writing these books, right? And so if you even think that, but it was crazy because ever since I was little, I remember being in school and be like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm never going to work.
Right.
I used to say that, and they used to look at me. I'm like, I'm never going to work. I'm like, I'm going to be an artist, and that, like,
I love it. But you are.
No, I know. But anyway, so what do you think, like, because you did pick a creative field. You're an interior designer. That's a beautiful, so like,
my mind is like this beautiful ball of
right. So that's
creativity.
my point. It's like, how did you, in a sense, conform?
Like with the construction company?
Yeah, or just conform, because to be in interior design, you have to be creative and think outside the box. So how did you were you just like, that's it, I'm just gonna conform? Do you have kids?
I don't know.
Okay.
No. Husband?
No.
Okay.
It's just me.
Okay.
So I think
was it lifestyle, money?
It was money was the drive. So I was a full-time model for a really long time. I was front-facing. I really enjoyed it. And then I found, you can make more money being on the back side of things. This is like maybe 30-ish. This is when everything was an Instagram competition. And I was like, I grew up with like paper. I don't even know how to get likes on a photo. And then also, but like, what am I going to tell my grandkids I was an Instagram model? They're not even going to effing care at the end of the day. So they're
going to be like Snapchat.
Right. They're like, who? They won't even understand what I'm saying. So I was like, okay, what I've done in life is really cool. So let me just back off the chaos that is coming from the internet and see what else I can provide. And that's when I was getting hired to be a manager for all of this traveling that I did. And I really enjoyed it. I was like, okay, so working on the back end is still fun. I'm front facing in a different manner. I'm not on a runway. I'm not doing print or any of that. It was a lot less demanding that way for me. Like I didn't have to have this beautiful face on all the time because I was loading or unloading a truck or like driving a rig across the country. It was very different. And then the construction company, everything I had been doing was contractor work. And then the construction company just found my information one day and I was like, oh my gosh, finally a salary position. Like I don't have to constantly be chasing all this work and see if I'm like, it's almost like validation chasing too. And it can get very exhausting. And so as soon as they reached out, I was like, absolutely, I'm on board. COVID hit and I just threw myself into that job and I was like, all right, sweet. So this is it. And then again, that ended up not working out. And now I'm in a place where I feel like I'm 18 all over again. Like I'm the same weight I was at 18. I've got the blonde hair again. Like I'm doing modeling gigs again. Like all these doors are opening. And I'm like, oh, so my true self was that person back then, not someone overseeing thousands of staff and being this kind of like bitchy person. Like I am this fun ball of light that is charismatic and inspires other people. And although I did that in construction, I did it within their boundaries.
Right. And
now it's my boundaries. And yeah.
So I know you said that event wasn't the final straw. Do you want to talk about the final straw or no?
Yes. So a new gentleman had been brought on that I had to deal with on a daily basis. And it got to the point where I didn't want to check my email. I didn't even want to turn my phone on because I knew the stuff coming in from him would just be so intense. It would throw my whole work aura off.
That's how I am with men.
I mean, it was a guy.
I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I haven't called back in a week.
Do not disturb.
Right. Why did you block me? How did you find me? Okay, sorry.
Right. No, exactly. Okay. And it was a guy, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, what do I even do here? Am I supposed to tolerate this behavior because it's a male dominated industry?
But bigger, what you're really saying is it wasn't bringing you peace and your energy was off.
Right. Oh, it was off.
And that's really kind of like what the subject matter seems to be and what the direction you ended up going.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like in society today, we focus enough on energy, spiritual, mental wellness, right? It's like, well, suck it up, blah, blah, blah.
It's like push it down.
Yeah, like this is your job. That's it, right? So, I mean, I want to say congratulations to you for
You're giving me chills. I have them.
No, because congratulations to you for listening to your women intuition, your divine feminine energy.
Yes.
And even though it was scary, you were like, this isn't bringing me peace. And so I want to congratulate you on that because it takes courage to listen to that. Because a lot of times, not just feminine intuition, men have it too, but we don't listen to it, right?
Yeah,
because
we just don't even listen to it.
because of bills or whatever. Like, God forbid we don't have these feelings, right? So,
and I had them. I had to get my ducks in a row because I was not in a place where I could just leave. I mean, I didn't have kids or a husband, right? But everyone has finances.
So
in
let's
a house.
talk about that. When your ducks in a row, like you said, I when you sent me your bio, it said she packed 3 bikinis, honey, and was like, I'm out. So like, how did that
It wasn't that simple. Packing was that simple, but I knew when it was time to go, okay, like how much money do I need? I did a lot of chatting with my Merrill Lynch advisor to see like, okay, what do I need in the bank so I can make this happen? And
good. So you prepared financially.
I did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure when you sent the thing.
Right.
Did you just like F it and didn't even care about money?
I did. So
why Costa Rica?
I had gone there for a retreat.
Wait. So back up. Before we talk about this, she met up with the Merrill Lynch, but then she picked a country. Yeah. So like, okay, so you talked to your financial advisor, and then like she said, how do we even get to like?
Yeah.
So
why Costa Rica?
It's Costa Rica because I went there for a week vacation or a retreat with my yoga company, and was just very open there. I mean, and anytime I feel like I leave the borders of the US, which has not been frequently, but when it does happen, it's like this sensation comes over and everything you've ever had a problem with just leaves.
That's how I feel when I go back home to Guatemala, honestly. When I go back home to Guatemala and I'm home for maybe like, I have skin problems here in the wintertime, so my skin doesn't do well. I have lupus, my joints, and all of a sudden I go back home and like, it's like, everything's like, and then not only that, when I'm back home, see, when we're here, I find myself even like, I got to go home and watch the Celtics, right? Or I want to watch games. But when I'm away in Guatemala, I'm like, what football game? What basketball? Because you're so consumed even just walking outside every day or just being so immersed in nature.
Yes.
That we don't get to do it because it's cold here, right? It's like, who the hell wants to be up even today, right?
No, absolutely.
So, that's why you picked Costa Rica.
Yes, exactly. Because I had been there. We stayed at a decent retreat, and there's like some other things that were happening. So I was having a lot of wine and pizza one night, and I had messaged them, I hate my life. Can you help me? And I didn't remember.
Wait, who's them?
This is the retreat that I stayed at. I did not remember doing this.
Oh, like, shoot.
Really?
I did not remember this. And then they responded a couple weeks later, and I was like, oh my God, like I didn't remember sending this, but they're responding. They're sending me information.
What kind of wine was that, honey? She said, I don't remember.
I know.
It's red wine. That's like whiskey to me. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. But yeah, so I had some interviews with them. I had a slew of interviews.
Wait, time out. No. So you said you hate my life. Help me. What do you mean now you're having interviews? You want to work with them?
Yeah, like volunteer. So they said, we have a volunteer program if that's something you're interested in.
To do yoga.
Honestly, I didn't really know, but I just said, whatever that means, yes.
But what kind of place was this place in Costa Rica?
Yeah, this is the retreat.
Yeah, but what kind of place is it?
A yoga retreat.
Oh, so, but are they in like some remote village or like?
Yeah, they're like in the jungle.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. On the west coast of Costa Rica.
Okay.
Like an hour and a half south of Liberia. I don't know if you guys have been there, but
that's where the Liberia, like Africa?
No, Liberia, Costa Rica.
Wait.
Funny story though, when you put so many people when they go to Costa Rica and fly into Liberia, they by mistake book Africa because that's the first one that pops up. No one knows of Liberia.
Yeah, I didn't know about Liberia, Costa Rica.
I also might have done that, but that's fine.
Okay, so you're there and you're doing yoga. No, I love to do yoga.
Yeah.
It's one of my morning rituals. Like I love to listen to classical music, sip my coffee naked, looking at the people go to work, right?
We are twins.
And then I like to do my yoga, right? So how do you feel that yoga really, I want to say, kind of helps you as a human being, and is it something you highly recommend for everybody out here?
100%. So yoga isn't just the physical practice, right? Yoga and the yoga philosophy itself is really like emptying yourself and understanding yourself before you even do the practice of yoga. So I started yoga, oh my gosh, maybe 15 years ago at the studio I went to Costa Rica with, and I needed it as a stress outlet at first. And then over time, listening and understanding and seeing what my body was capable of when I didn't do yoga is when I noticed the significant change. And I've just never looked back since. I mean, I've been going to that studio for so long. I do it at home. My yoga practice includes journaling, lighting a candle, There's so many other things.
Meditation.
Meditation.
Yeah.
I'm still in school. I'm always extending my yoga knowledge so I can inform everyone as best as I can here. Costa Rica practice is very different from United States practice. So being internationally certified as an instructor on a slew of yoga platforms it's something that I think that I'm supposed to be doing, right?
So let's get into that. So is this what your new company, your found company? Can you so your newfound company, and the name of it is again?
It's Stina Leigh Practice.
Okay, so it's Stina Leigh Practice. And Stina Leigh Practice, does it focus on the art of yoga and...
Yes, it's personal wellness and, personal development and wellness. But we also offer what I've always been good at, marketing, right? So I have a staffing agency and a business development agency. That is where all my income has come from. All this traveling I did, even working with the construction company, encompassed all of that. I can do that with my eyes closed. I can make a really nice income with that. So to me, it doesn't make sense to nix that and then struggle starting a brand new company. So they all work hand in hand, right? So believing in the yoga philosophy, how life works, and understanding who you are as a person is going to bring the best business together, right?
Amen.
And the best staff together. So all three of them work together.
So let me ask you this. Are a lot of your clients corporate companies, businesses that hire you as like in a sense as a what do you call it? Life coach, or is it personal?
So when a corporate company is hiring me right now, that's for business development. What I want it to get into is corporate yoga development. And they know that I do the two. So the doors are opening for that nonstop, which is so exciting. But that's the long story.
So you feel that because United States is very, not in a sense, Western medicine, you feel like now they're starting to get more open to that philosophy?
Oh, for sure.
Because people are feeling like how you were feeling, burnt out, and like want to quit their job, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And especially after COVID, right? Everybody like wants to stay, work at home. It's hard to get people back. So I'm sure this is a great time, guys. So if you have like a life coaching business or something like her business, as these companies are struggling. Like if you see all the apartment buildings going up, I mean, the corporate offices, now they're going to build luxury apartments because they can't fit offices in there anymore. People don't even want to, go to work.
Right.
So you must be in a great position where people can come back now, businesses, and want to hire you. So it's like a kumbaya happy work environment, right?
It's quite lovely. Yeah. My clients are great. I have some that are corporate. I have some that are just little boutique companies. And luckily, I'm able to kind of treat them both the same, have success in both, and then be able to utilize both. And I don't prefer one over the other. It's probably easier to do things with a boutique agency because,
of course,
there's not as many regulations to follow. And then corporate, they can be a little less flexible with what the opportunity of spirituality and the yoga philosophy can do for their staff. But when I can have people or other clients let them know what the success rate is and how it can change them, then it's just kind of like a shoe-in. So.
Wow. So do you go into these businesses or these boutique businesses to get new clients? Like, do you go in with analytics?
I haven't gone in once. They come to me.
Really? So
Not
universal law.
Yeah. Knock on wood.
Right. It's amazing.
Oh, wow.
The phone never stops. I don't even understand it.
And you don't even have your website still not really up yet.
It's not even up yet.
That's great.
So it's all word of mouth.
It's all been word of mouth.
That's okay. So let me ask you this: what are your rates? So I'm a small business, right? So say Via Guatemala Coffee. I'm stressed out, guys. I'm really going through it. I need some I'm never going through it, just so we're clear. But in case I was,
you're never going through it because you've never been in corporate, which is so great.
Right, it makes sense. Oh my gosh.
But let's just say I want to hire you. I'm a small boutique business, right? Like, so what does your packages look like?
Yeah, so it varies. It depends what you need, right? If you need just a business restructure, like your business plan and whatnot is not working and you're like ready to close up shop, I can go in, and that's typically I mean, that can be anywhere from 5 to 30 grand. It depends how big that company is and what it entails.
Okay. But you're not really using any of the yoga practices to do a business revamp, business
not
plan.
Yet. That's what I'd like to get to. So they know that I have my yoga stuff and it's separate, but I keep my staffing is one thing, my business restructuring is another, and then my yoga is another. So I've got 3 beautiful things underneath Stina Leigh Practice.
So let me ask you, so like the hospital I work for, I know like one of the nurse practitioners there, she actually just applied for a grant to do like almost like a wellness thing for the staff in the department. So
grants,
is it something
grants are great.
Yeah, is it something that like you would come out and do like a yoga session with us?
So if you signed up for business restructuring, I'm not offering you yoga. That's something I talk about at the end. If you come to me and you say, you know what, my business is not really working out, we need to up our ROI by at least 25% next year or we're closing the door. That's my focus. And that's what I'm capable of doing. That's what I've been doing since I was like 18. But in your circumstance, yes, that could be something that they offer, and that's something I can facilitate.
Okay. So let me ask you this, because I feel like you have such 3 very different. So you do anything from revamping someone's like, infrastructure, their business, right? Then you have the yoga. What's the middle one? Marketing.
So staffing.
Okay, so how do you not feel, only because I am only asking this, I don't think there's any, but do you feel like sometimes people can get a little bit lost or not understand your business? Because people tend to be like, oh, wait, how can you do these 3 different things? Like,
so we call it SLP.
Yep.
And that stands for Stina Leigh Promotions, Promotions, and Practice.
Okay.
So promotions is staffing, productions is business development, practice is people development and wellness.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, have you applied for grants?
I haven't. No, I have. I'm restructuring my business plan so I can apply for a small business. But Rhode Island has some really good female-driven ones. So that's my plan. Like I said, my LLC was just approved, and we have a lot.
Congratulations!
Thank you. I'm like. It's so funny. When I have my own office, I'm going to have a bunch of hot pink ducks in a row because I'm like such a duck in a row person. But like, I plan on applying for grants when I can make sure that I can apply for all of them at once.
Gotcha.
Because I know it's a similar submission process for everyone. And I just have so many other things going on. That's how I'd like it to be. It's actually on my list for this week. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So for those who don't know, and I don't know how the state of Rhode Island is with grants, but for me, if you're going to have an LLC and you're going to try to apply for a grant, you have to make sure that if you don't own the property, that you have a letter saying it's okay to do business out of that property. Because before, people could just do an LLC and whatever and then apply for grants. But now they're actually asking, and I only say that because I had an issue with what the building I was at was Lynn Arts, and they wouldn't, even though I was paying rent out of there, they wouldn't give me a letter for Via Guatemala Coffee because the city of Lynn actually wanted to give me a grant.
Okay.
And because the Lynn Arts wouldn't approve me doing business out of there, all I wanted to do was use the address. I lost so much money.
Okay.
And it was really sad.
Oh,
so, I'm just letting you guys know. So, if you guys have an LLC, congratulations. But make sure that the business is okay with you using that address. Because even if you're paying rent for whatever that is, and say you start another business, like, oh, yeah, they don't care. They may say, no, like you do this business. We don't want you to do that business, right? So, just keep that in mind. Because after COVID especially, and just a lot of scamming, you can't just apply for grants now. Everything has to really line up like T's and I's. Like it's a lot of work.
Right. And they have a bunch of different forms you have to do.
Yeah, it's so much work. Yeah. So, okay. So what do you like? Do you see yourself living here? And like, what do you, where do you see,
Costa Rica?
Where do you see yourself going with your company?
So, like I said, I've been traveling forever and I really enjoyed the Smoky Mountains. Funny enough, I was drinking coffee one morning in the Smoky Mountains really early. I was just on the back porch and the smoke, the actual like remnants of smoke in the evergreens was so beautiful. I was like, oh, this is it. This is what I want every day, every morning.
So like you're talking about like Montana, like that.
So Smoky Mountains is like Kentucky, Virginia, that whole area.
I would die if I lived there.
Tennessee, I think
there.
Tennessee. So I'd really like to live in the Smokies of Tennessee. That's where I'd like to build my forever home. My family is so important to me. They're my number one thing. I'm not leaving here until my parents are not around anymore.
Right.
Yeah, they're my heart. I was there last night for my birthday. Like,
oh, happy birthday! Oh my
Thanks.
God, I completely forgot. Oh, but
Thanks.
that's why I got you the chocolate.
oh, yay! Thank you. Thank you.
Of course.
I love it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I honestly, they are my life, my best friends, and they are so supportive when I travel because they know I'm doing what I love.
Yeah.
And I would be lost without them.
Let me ask you this. So, and it's totally up to you if you want to answer or not. So, are kids in your cards?
Oh my gosh. So I got baptized yesterday.
Wow.
For my birthday. Both of your faces.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
Yes.
We gotta go in on this.
Yes,
Right, right.
So I want a husband and I want kids really badly. I've never wanted them, maybe for like 6 months when I was 18. And then, I don't know, it was not in my cards. I never dreamt of my husband or that Cinderella story when you're a kid. I always was like wanting to be basically a boss bitch when I was little. Like in Lady and the Tramp, there's a little affluent woman that holds her dog and
that
walks
was
like
you?
this. That's what I want. Like that's all I've ever wanted.
Yeah.
And now I think now that I've had a piece of that and I'm there and it's really exciting and it's not what my long dream for myself is, but I'm sitting in it, right? I'm living that small bit. And I just, I've dated a couple people that made me see things a little differently, and they've all had children. All of my best friends have children, and I am obsessed with growing human beings.
Let me ask you this, if you don't mind. Are you in your 30s or 40s?
I am 41.
So how do you feel? And this is a great subject because I often wonder women who waited so long to have children, right? I often wonder, like, and now all of a sudden you're like, oh, I want kids, right? How do you feel like, because I don't know how to word it right properly. Okay, so for instance, like I think biologically, this is just what I think. This is why we get our periods when we're 13, 14. I think women are just meant to have kids very young, right? And I find it a lot when women wait, the longer they wait, it's almost harder for them to conceive, right?
You're not wrong.
Biologically, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so how do you feel about in vitro? I almost feel a little bit still weird about that because it's like you're genetically modifying kids.
Right.
And it's interesting, right? And so how would you feel it? Would you, if you couldn't have biological kids, would you adopt? Like, how do you feel?
Oh, that's funny that you say that because I always thought if I had kids, I would adopt. And the older I've gotten and the more I've interacted with hundreds of thousands of people across the country, I've realized that what my family has provided me is so rare. And my brother and I are as amazing as we are because of what they've provided us. Knowing also what they came from it's something that I can't explain, that I want to be able to provide for other people. I've seen people who have kids just for financial reasonings and so many
Bad
lackluster parents.
Right.
Yeah, bad parents.
Let's be honest, bad parents.
And I want to be a good parent. I want to bring someone beautiful into this world that has what I have to offer. There's my whole view on it has changed, and very recently.
So would you be okay if you couldn't biologically have kids?
I would say I understand. Like again, wrong eggs, wrong basket, wrong time.
Right.
But it might be a bummer, but because everything else in my life has worked out so wonderfully, I might be okay with it.
I just had my friend on here, Lynn, who was the birth keeper. You should reach out to her, the Monarch birth keeper, because she talks about how to even get pregnant, right? Things, and especially at your age. Not saying, and I don't. Again, it's not to like. I don't want to say to down you, right?
No, honesty is
no,
awesome.
but you should reach out to her because I mean, we talked about a number of things from like yoni eggs to not drinking, being sober for like she was sober for a whole, I think she said 5 years. She planned like until she got, so these are things that I don't think a lot of people put into, and then even in your 40s, like, I don't know, like certain herbs and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right? That's fascinating. So, I mean, you deserve it. I feel like every woman who wants to get whatever they want, they deserve it, And,
I thank you for that.
Yeah, of course you deserve it.
The reason I got baptized is because I've made a lot of bad decisions when it comes to men. I tolerate a lot of nonsense, and my Costa Rica journey taught me it was because I didn't think I was worthy enough for what I should deserve, deserve.
Right. I think it's a lot of women, to be honest with you.
And I just think that I'm in the right place now. All this connection I have with like spirituality and all of these, just the people that I talk to and the connections that I have, I really feel like the baptism was what I needed to do to like just say to the people above, like, I'm waving the white flag. You are in charge. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Do I invest time in dating or anything? No. And it's not because I just don't want to. Like, I don't want to. And that reason is because it's never worked out, right?
Now, do you, to make it easier for you because you're working so much, because of what you do, because you're traveling, have you signed up for online dating?
So here's the thing with online dating. I'm already on my phone 24/7, and my eyeballs are going to pop out of my head because they hurt so much.
Yeah. I honestly I don't believe in it. I think I mean, you're a very beautiful woman. I think you can walk out the street and someone's going to hit on you, right?
Yeah, it happens.
I just feel like we're such in a weird world where like you mean to tell me like a man or I can swipe and then I can be summoned to meet you? Like you kidding me? Like you gotta be lucky to even be in my presence, and now we're gonna be online and I'll be like, I'll swipe left and what time? Like no.
Oh my gosh, the killer for me is if they respond to like a photo. Like you put a story up of a hot pic and they fire emoji it, they think that warrants full conversation and sex.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Where is that happening?
So have you done online dating?
I've done it in the past.
Okay.
I've dated a couple people from it. It's just not for me. I do want to meet someone authentically. I'm out there a lot. Like I am out there a lot. Just
so
doing
fellas,
whatever.
she's saying no. So your information, what's your IG, so they can hit you up?
Yes, please hit me up.
Right. She looking for a husband and kids. So y'all might get ready.
I really am.
So did you get baptized as a child, or was
I
this?
did.
Okay,
yeah.
So did you change religions or
no? Just the church
kinda...
that I go to is very open with adult baptism, and I always felt when it happens, I get so emotional, and I always felt like I was called to do it.
Okay,
but I have lived a frivolous past, and I knew that if I did it, I'd have to let that go, and it's gotten to the point where I don't want a frivolous.
It's almost like
past
a
anymore.
pure, clean slate.
Yeah.
Starting over.
Yep. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Now
I'm only laughing because it was just yesterday, and it was like, I don't know.
Maybe you're still on a high from it.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, you're glowing.
I feel like I'm just every day. I'm like, every day is so different from what my life has been before.
Right.
Like me as before, like if someone's sexting me, hell yes, I'm responding. I don't give a flying fuck who it is. And now it's like, no, like focus for a second. Do you really need to be like sexting someone at 3 a.m. when you need to be up at 5? Like,
It's so funny you say that because
No, I don't.
it's so funny you say that because I'm the most like men are like send me a pic. I'm like no, never. Right.
See, now that's where I'm at.
Because I'm like go on my IG, right?
Right.
That's as sexy as you're gonna get, right?
Right,
Because
right.
I'm scared that if I send you something, God forbid someone takes your phone, you got some crazy puta in your life, and she got like, ah!
Right.
And then I'm like, because honey, I could Pornhub might be calling me, all right? So I don't want to brag, but you know, hey. But I'm just saying. So I try to stay away from that because I don't do the whole like send me
Right.
like I have to someone that I really trust
Right.
and care.
Right.
But these randoms, it's like
can't.
nah, you can't.
No,
And these
you don't know their
men,
intentions
and
ever.
my thing, it's like, dog, you got OnlyFans chicks, just go pay for it. Like, why are you asking me for it?
For real.
Right.
And I go support them, and like I'm not mad at it, but don't ask me. And not only that, I don't do OnlyFans, but there's been times when there's men been hitting me up, and they be like, oh, I'm like, yeah, send me 500, and then I block them. I don't care. You're stupid.
Right.
Like, if that's what you really think I'm going to sit here and send you some of my pics, like, no, absolutely not.
Right? Oh my
You're
gosh.
stupid.
I'm all
So, all right. So now your plan. So your home base is Rhode Island.
Yes.
Okay. And so mostly the businesses that come to you, are they like businesses from Rhode Island, Boston, or are they online businesses?
No, they're all over. So one's from New York, another's New Jersey, one is Boston. So they're at least Eastern Coast
Coast.
based.
And are they asking you to fly out and like meet the staff or like meet with them and like
Not usually. So I'll either meet them in person initially at some event that I'm at. If not, Zoom call discussing about what the opportunities are, and then I kind of just run the show. Unless I have to be flown out, it's very rare. I have a really long repertoire of good clients and good expectations being exceeded, so I haven't really had to yet.
Okay, so where do you see your company going, and what is your like ultimate expectation and like your goal? Like, what's your
Yes.
dream in this?
So my goal right now is growing the staffing and marketing agency over the next 3 to 5 years and then selling it.
wait,
Oh,
and
really?
wait. Now you're staffing. That means you're actually hiring people to send out 2 jobs to staff.
Yeah.
Okay, and under what entities, what businesses?
That
Those
was the promotion.
This
Yeah.
is all. So
Okay.
SLP is 3 things: promotions, productions, practice.
No, but promotion. So let's just say liquor, things like that. You'd hire girls to do like liquor promotions, right? Or what other type of promotion?
yeah, it's on and off premise, large scale events.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoever the third party liaison is.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
And so your staffing company, that, and then what's the other one you said?
The second one is the business restructuring,
Okay.
and then the third.
So you want to
is
grow those 2 to
grow
sell
those
it.
tools, sell them, because like I said, that's what I'm good at, but that's not where my heart lies. I'm really, really good at it. I really enjoy it, but do I want to do it forever? No. Where does any stress come from? That.
So what's
Wow.
selling mean? I come in and I got this money, honey.
Yeah, they take. So you
No. I
someone-
got this money, honey. What's the number?
You it's all tax preparers take, so they have to take a look at your taxes, what your income is. Someone who buys and sells businesses will typically tell you
They'll give
what
you an
can
estimate
sell it
value.
for.
Yep.
Yep, and then that's a discussion that for the gentleman that I have that I deal with, he's already preparing me for selling him in the next 3 to 5
So
years.
what would be your number?
Oh, what I would like to sell them
Yes.
for?
What's your number? I got the money,
gosh.
honey. Right here. Throw it in the bag for you.
I would love to sell them for like, I think staffing I could sell now for $1 million for sure.
Really?
The amount of staff that I have across the country, 100%. I'd like to sell that for $3 million, and then my business restructuring for like 1.5.
So basically, selling
In
your
5
companies
years.
means giving them the blueprint, giving them all your accounts, all your business relationships that you have,
All my staff, everything.
and saying, "Here you go,
Sayonara.
take
Yeah.
it," right? And they can
Yeah.
rename it, or you gonna
Yeah.
if they want to keep
Yeah.
the same name. Okay, I didn't know if that
Okay,
goes.
yeah,
All
I
right,
know that.
so all right, so that's perfect. So
Yeah.
you'd give them basically like the little black book. Here you
Yeah.
go. Here's all right.
And my name would be affiliated, so anyone that works with them would be happy and know that it's coming from a good
Okay,
place, because
yeah.
there's a lot of nonsense out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And then the Stina Leigh practice, which is personal development, wellness, Ayurvedic nutrition, yoga, that I want to keep as my baby forever.
Yeah, because it's a lifestyle.
Right.
helping people be great, motivational speaking, all of the things that this entails. I want to keep that forever. I'm not selling that.
Now when you say this,
Yes.
are you talking about your chakras?
Oh, my chakras, my body, all the things. What Stina is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would be your ultimate goal now with like the yoga practice and the lifestyle like we talked about?
So that all started.
But what is something that you would like, I guess, your gift to the people? Like if it was like your dream to make it national, what do you think would it be? It would
Like her mission statement?
Yeah, in a sense.
I would really like that. I would like Stina Leigh practice to be a way of motivational speaking. That's something that I do. So that would be the key entity of it. Okay. Stina Leigh practice would be like a way of motivating yourself, self-help, all of that. But the way I would include yoga, I would really like to teach yoga from the stage as well. So maybe there's motivational speaking that happens,
Fix your hair, babe.
There's a yoga opportunity.
Okay. Sorry.
So that's what I'd like.
So like your own yoga studios?
I do not want to own a yoga studio.
Because that means you have to be tied
retreat?
down.
Yeah, I would love a retreat company. I
know that's
basically
kind of what
already do
inspired
that.
you.
Yeah, I already do that. I facilitate a lot of retreats in Costa Rica. I do that here in the United States as well.
So you have a great relationship with Costa Rica, and that's great. And
Yes.
so I definitely want to talk to you about doing a retreat, especially with Via Guatemala Coffee.
Yes.
Because I did a retreat in the Cape where we did sound healing.
Yeah.
We did 2-day yoga.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to talk to you about doing a retreat. And even in Guatemala, Lake Atitlan, it's a very spiritual place.
I am not strapped to Costa Rica. I'm going to Greece to help with one. We're setting up one for the Dominican Republic as well.
Yeah, I definitely would love to speak to you about
Yes,
that. Because I'm all about, I always tell, I've been preaching yoga. I was doing it before. I don't even know if people knew what it was. It's been part of, and I only got into it because I was an athlete. So I just, with ballet too, and I just started learning like 20 years ago, and I would read, I read the book of Taoism. Yeah. You know, yin and yang and the balance. And
see,
so,
you got it right here.
Yeah. So I was, reading these things, and I'm a Libra too. So we tend to be like theologists, you know what I mean? So we tend to like to grab all different religions and stuff, but I really resonate with like the Buddhists and with the Taoism and just embodying nature and like balance and stuff like that. So that's great. Now, how do you feel about crystal therapy?
I think that when someone is an energy healer, they have been blessed with understanding those gifts, right? I feel energy so intensely. Like when you were talking, like when certain things are said, I am covered in chills head to toe. And that's when I know I'm doing the right thing. I'm having the right conversation. And if not, my central nervous system like reacts instantly. And I went through some ceremonies down in Costa Rica to be more cognizant of those things. But that's another discussion. I don't know. Well,
no, I think that's a great discussion to have, because I think that people in the United States, and back to your job in corporate, that we're blocking these things to be cognizant of, right?
Yeah,
we're blocking our like nervous system. We're blocking, like, we're taught so much, like, take it, you need this, or just even with our kids, take it. And I remember I used to tell my daughter, you're lucky you're my kid, because honey, I would have been, like, we would have been far, right? And sometimes as parents or mothers, we don't even get chances to put boundaries up with our own kids. We got to take it, right?
Yeah.
And we're just taught in this country, take it, because if we don't, we're going to lose our job. If we don't, we're going to lose our benefits. If we don't, we're going to lose, our kids are going to run away. It's like, you know what I mean? So it's like, so let's talk about that. Like,
actually, I'm reading a book. I don't know if you guys ever read it. It's called the 5 a.m. Club. And it kind of mentioned something about, like, even just being as a child, like you guys mentioned earlier, our imaginations. You said, I'm going to be an artist as a child. You didn't conform to what society has told you to conform to. And it's like, as we get older, it's like we get watered down. We get told what to do. Go to college, do this, do that. And it's just like, you always knew you wanted to do something in wellness and yoga, but like, the money was calling, the salary was calling, and you
Yeah.
went into construction, marketing, and
Yeah.
all that stuff, but you weren't happy.
Right.
And then it brought you back because that
Yes.
was your purpose in life.
I
So,
literally said to God, day one in Costa Rica, I am here so you can tell me what I'm supposed to do for the rest of my life.
wow.
And it was yoga,
And it was even your
health, and
subconscious
wellness.
that texted, I hate my life.
Yes, yeah.
Was
I
that
know.
like an epiphany moment for you almost?
That
Well,
was me saying, oh, I am really unhappy if I'm doing that. Like, yeah, it was very eye-opening for me.
Can you
What
tell the
happened?
people, because I think it's important for them to know if they're very unhappy at their job,
Mhm.
right? And they just, I kind of want to do a you move or say do a me move. Like I work for myself. I'm very happy. I'm not going to lie and say that I'm not. I don't really ever have sad days. I used to. Not going to sit here and say I didn't just because of my past life. But what can you tell someone? And maybe could you be a resource for them?
Oh, yes,
in a
100%.
sense, right? So you're unhappy with your job, you're unhappy with whatever situation, but you're scared to make that jump, that leap, right? To leave your job. So what can you tell the people?
right.
Well, the first thing you need to do is like take a self-assessment, right? Can you just leave right now?
Mm-hmm.
What are the repercussions if you do? Do you have kids, family? How are your finances?
Okay,
right?
make a list of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's number one, because if you are like at your wit's end, but if you quit your job and you can't feed your kids or yourself, it's going to be worse than your wit's end.
Right.
So it's understanding where you're at and doing a check with that, pros and cons list. And then once you have like where you're at and what you currently have, start with what you want. Where is your heart? What are the things you like to do in your spare time? And
these are like finding your passion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like whatever that is, if you love to paint and you haven't painted in 20 years, why? Is it because of your job? Great. But just make a list of the things that you enjoy, that makes you happy, that makes you smile. What do you do in that list of what you're currently doing right now that helps that list grow?
Okay.
And do a back and forth and see if nothing in what you're currently doing even adds to that list, you gotta figure out why.
Okay, but my next question is you said that you spoke to your financial advisor, right?
Yep. That was my main worry.
So my thing is let's just say they don't have a financial advisor or whatever. How do they financially figure out the situation? Do they just give themselves a timeline and say, look, I'm going to work for 5 more months, save, cut back on everything, not go out, and I don't know, just hide.
Yes. Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Eat ramen for the next 5 months, right? And then whatever.
Penny
And
pinch.
so that's exactly. So because, the good thing is you had a financial where you could fall back on that. Maybe some people don't, right?
Right.
So,
And he just checks in on me.
because we can't move without money, honey.
Right.
So
Exactly.
all right. So the money is a big aspect of it.
Money's the number one thing. If you are risking your life to quit a job and source happiness, literally risking lives, you can't do that, right? Thankfully, I don't have kids. I don't have a husband. It was me. I would only affect me. If you're affecting other people, that is your consideration. That is your
Right.
yes or no right there.
See, and I'm so happy you said that, because back to just even a lot of relationships, and especially you women, you have to really be conscious about who you're going to get in a relationship with. Who are you going to have kids with? Are they going to back up your dreams, right? Because I feel like for me, this never happened to me, but a lot of my women friends, when they become mothers, they forget their dreams. They forget themselves. Their kids grow up, right? And then they're like, oh my God, who am I? Who's my identity, right? So in saying that, it's you got to really be careful, because sometimes too, your baby father could leave you. And before you know it, all your dreams and everything you wanted, because you have to take care of this human life. And, and I was lucky where I was young, and I sacrificed maybe my 20s and my 30s, right? I had her young, but that was fine, whatever, because I wanted to make sure I raised an incredible human being, right? But I did sacrifice everything. I sacrificed happiness, honestly.
Right.
So in saying that, ladies, I'm just saying that be conscious about the partners that you pick and the people and the person you're going to have kids with, because it can make or break your life. You can have a really hard life, or that person can make an easier life for you.
Right. And your job can do the same, right? It's not always a job that's the problem. It can be a relationship.
It can be a relationship, yeah.
So keeping the mindset similar as far as happiness, how it's filling you up versus withdrawing you is super important.
And in relationship too, looking at it as a business. Is this business good for me?
Yeah,
relationship is a business relationship. Is this, am I the caretaker as the woman? I mean, and financially, am I the one bringing in more of the money, right? And then do I have to take care of the kids too? So look at your relationship, because I've seen a lot of women where their lives due to, and I hate to say it, just due to relationships, that's it for them. It's so sad. They forget about who they are.
Right.
And
I feel like a lot of the women that do that maybe never had the opportunity to even know who they are. And that's why they'll just take whatever. I'm coming from personal.
You mean like they just identify as
a mother,
or just identify
and there's
as
nothing wrong with that.
Because there's a lot of people that wanted to be that since children, like how.
Yeah, but there is something wrong with that, because a mother is just not who we are as women. It's part of who we are.
Right.
So there is something wrong with that. Just to identify and say I'm a mother, that's kind of really like saying, damn, like that's all you are.
I mean, I have a friend that literally converted religions and said, no, I want to quit my job. I want to be a mother. And she's popped up 6 kids, 7, but one died. Yeah.
But
and that's all she wants.
But how is she taking care of the kids?
The dad is.
The dad.
She's giving them sniff.
Well, you know what? Yeah. Hey, if that works for them,
and that's all she wants.
But at least he's supporting the family. This is what I'm saying. I'm talking about the women.
Single mother.
Yeah, I'm talking about the woman who gets left with 6 kids, and then it's like, honey, what the hell? Like, so wow. Okay, yeah. So this is incredible. So you guys, if any of you guys really just are tired of your shit, tired of your job or whatever,
that's a perfect way. You're tired of your own shit. I can literally help you get out of the hole and figure it out. And part of my personal development, that's what it is. So with any of the motivational speaking that I do, it's getting to the bottom of your nonsense and bringing in the happiness. I always say, stop sleeping and start living. That's what
that's your motto, your tagline?
That's my tagline. That's what most of my motivational speaking
are
called. Yes.
Okay. And now how long have you been I guess when was your awakening?
I would say I have had like 2 of them. The first one was my first trip to Costa Rica. My second one was my second trip to Costa Rica.
Which was a year, 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was this past February.
Okay.
Not like last week, like a year ago. I did a sweat lodge, and then
I did one of those.
Yeah, and then in November I did a cap ceremony.
What's a cap ceremony?
So it's a Kundalini activation process. So basically what it does is it awakens all of your chakras at once. So if you shut a lot of chakras down, that shit is buck wild.
Honey.
Really?
Okay.
Yes.
Bring it back. Bring it back. Catalini and capsule. Bring it, whatever.
So Kundalini
bring it all
yoga.
back. Okay. Bring it all back. So tell us how the step-by-step of the capsule thing goes.
Yep. So it's called a cap ceremony.
Okay.
Kundalini is a type of yoga.
Okay.
So it's called the Kundalini activation process. So, and I don't teach it. This is, if I'm remembering this correctly, over time when we shove things down, we're blocking our chakras.
Yes,
right?
Of course.
And they say that there's like a little snake in your belly that holds all of that darkness. That's why when things don't feel right or there's always like a lower tummy feeling, that's the darkness.
Okay.
And what this cap ceremony does is it awakens that snake to come in and out of all of your chakras to respin them and reawaken them at the same time, which is a lot. If you've shoved things down your whole life, which I have, it can be extremely intense. Like you can have body shakes, you can contortion your body, like weird things.
Do you take peyote?
No.
No, I didn't know if there was a drink.
No.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Peyote?
Yeah, peyote.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did you drink it?
No.
Okay, because I know for some of these spiritual awakening.
And ayahuasca.
And ayahuasca, yeah.
Yes. Nope, this is just a energy ceremony.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I am very open. I've been moderately intuitive for most of my life, but when I need to like release and be open, a lot of things happen.
Okay, let me ask you this. This is a serious question. Is this very good for people who say, in a sense, been abused? Because I feel like a lot of people who've been abused hold a lot of things down.
It can be. So I'm a type of person that wants to put myself through things for betterment purposes. I feel like that is a therapeutic conversation to have with a professional, because if you feel that going deep down is going to bring up stuff that's unsafe, then you need to be prepared. Because I know that unsafe feelings will come up, but I can control them. Some people cannot.
Okay.
I think that's important.
This cap?
So they're Kundalini, they're cap ceremony energy healers that do it.
Okay.
So that my friend Ann down in Costa Rica does it with this other woman. They do it all over Costa Rica, and I'm not even sure that they offer it up here.
I was going to ask that.
I really don't know.
What's the cost?
Because I'm friends with her, I didn't pay anything.
But let's just say I
think it's a few $100.
Okay, Joe Schmo wants
to go. It's just a couple hours, but I did a few of them. So just going, you could go the first time. They play this fun music. Well, it's really funky music, honestly. And you could just lay there and sleep the whole time. Or you could say, well, that was nothing for me. But if you go in with the mindset of like, I'm going to get something out of this, I'm going to be very open, which is how I was the whole time I was living there, I'm sure something will happen. Okay. It's all about mindset there too. If you think spiritual stuff is weird, you're already going to block there. So
of course.
It's not going to happen.
Right. So now I want to hire you for, more spiritually enlightened, or just, I don't know, just to be in a sense. Do you come to my house? Do I go to you, like, for the yoga?
Yeah, I can come to your house. So like I said, I do teach yoga at a few studios, but I'm not stuck to one studio.
Okay.
I travel a lot. I do some one-on-one. So if you have a space, that is an option as well.
And we could do it also, too, on Zoom?
Yeah, always, yes.
Oh, okay. So do you do some classes as well on Zoom?
Most of my Zooms are one-on-one. But if you have some friends that want to come in and do a class, that's always an option.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Well, I'd love to know how your whole coffee line started. Wait, I'm in Boston. I got to say coffee.
No, I don't say that. Thank God. Thank God I don't have that. Coffee. Again, I mean, since you're going to get chills. It's just divine intervention. It's just serendipity.
Oh, I did.
No, but I'm saying it's my daughter. I was adopted, and my daughter wanted to do 23andMe and Ancestry.com, because she's always like, Mom, you're not 100% Guatemalan. I know you're something else. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And she went and did it in her father's from Liberia, and she did it in 2019 behind my back, because I had already tried to look for my biological mother. And when I didn't find her in 2010, I was like, you know what? This was just way too much for me. I'm never going to do that again.
Yeah.
So it was like one of those things I just put on the shelf. Like, I tried, it didn't work, call it a day, right? So she did it. And then she ended up, unbeknownst to me, all these years, my family had been looking for me. And one of my uncles became a Mormon. I guess they can have a lot of wives or whatever. Yeah. So the religion, a lot of people leave it though, right? So they set up like this database, and my cousin, I guess, was really good in computers and was like, hey, I've been looking for my niece. Let's set up a 23andMe and let's do all this stuff. And they were looking for me, and 10 years passed, nothing. And then all of a sudden my daughter goes on. It's like bing, 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 bing. But, my daughter was born in U.S., so she thinks everything is a scam, right? So she's like, what the hell? And then they're like, oh my God, is your mother's name Sylvia? And she's like, yeah, but, she's like, whatever, that's like any information. And then she's like, and they were just asking her questions. And then she went and got all my papers from the orphanage. And she was asking, she's like, hold on. They're like, they know a lot, right? Like things that you wouldn't know. Yeah. And then finally, he was like, look, our uncle is in LA. You call him. He speaks really good English. So she calls him, and he's like, he just broke down and was crying. And he's like, we've been looking for her all these years. He said, we light a candle for her every single night. And he's like, oh my God, where is she? So Chanel just comes over one night. She at 11 o'clock at night. She's like, Mom, I'm coming over. I'm like, okay, because she stays with me and my mother. So we're like 7 minutes apart. I'm like, all right. And then she calls and she's like, oh, I found your uncle. She just said it so like, I'm like, what are you talking about? and he's on the phone and we're WhatsApping and he's crying. He's like,
Oh my
niece.
gosh.
And so my background before the coffee company, I do art and design.
Yeah.
And so I do custom design jackets for like professional athletes.
Yeah.
My uncle did all of Kobe Bryant's suits. They're designers.
Oh my
My
gosh.
cousins are designers. My cousin just did David. Shout out to my cousin David. Just did in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. The Weeknd. You know how the Weeknd performed?
Yeah.
He did his whole thing for the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Like so. Here, imagine and mind you, some of my jackets were in in Melrose Ave, and some of the boutiques. My cousin's store is in Melrose Ave. So I'm flying back and forth in LA. Imagine we could have been missing each other, right? Literally.
Yeah.
Walked right by each other.
So it was during
Yeah.
COVID. I was like, F this. I fly out to LA. I go meet my uncle and my cousin. I reunite with them. And again, it was like I never felt home. I love my adopted parents. It was just a very weird feeling for me. I felt like I felt obligated to do it. And they love me.
Yeah.
But it was always something missing. But when I was with my uncle and my cousins, I was like, oh, this is what it's like. So remember when you're like, I'm with my family, I'm with my cousins.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what it feels like to say I'm with my uncle and my cousins. It was so like crazy to me. Then my biological sister came here, whatever. She's in Atlanta, but she can't speak English. So we're speaking to her, Google Translate. So I fly from LA to Atlanta, and then Atlanta in 2019, I fly back home to Guatemala. There, my aunt who delivered me is waiting for me. My uncle is waiting for me. My brother, my sister, everybody's waiting for me.
Oh my
And
gosh.
this is when I find out my biological mother died, which is fine. But all these years I never had closure either.
Yeah.
That was she alive or dead?
Yeah.
So to get that, and so it was it was like it literally was like a mirror. It was like a lifetime movie thing. But I told them every year I'm gonna come back on my birthday.
Yeah.
So I go back 2020, then I go back 2021, then 2022. I meet my boy cousin, and he's like Prima, and he's Freddie, and he's like, hey, he's like we have a family friend that owns a farm. And I'm like, what kind of farm, right? You got to ask out there. And he's like, coffee. And again, like, I don't know what it was, but it was like, I literally saw the whole picture flash before my eye. And it was like God spoke to me like,
Yes.
do it now. And my internet wasn't working. So I WhatsApped my graphic designer. I'm like, buy via Guatemala.coffee.com right now. I'm giving him my thing. He's buying it for me. And then I went to the coffee farm. I stayed with the family. I had to meet with the family, the elders. We shook hands. They wanted to know my intentions. And that was like crazy. And that was it. And that's how the coffee company started. And I always tell people, like, biblically, since you just got, baptized,
Yeah.
they say, and the child shall lead. And if my daughter had not found my biological family, none of this happened. And
Yeah.
it honestly almost makes me cry every time I tell the story, because I feel like too, I had such an awful childhood and coming here, but because I got educated here and I understood business and I started a business, it was almost like God was like, this is why I removed you from there. Now you need to come back and help your people, right? And plus I was seeing what Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts are doing to my people, and I don't like it, right?
Yeah.
You're exploiting, like, to me, if in any Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts CEOs, how come you haven't built a school down there? How come you haven't built shelters down there? You do nothing.
Right.
All you do is put on your wall fair trade. That shit makes me sick. You literally, and it's not just in my country, it's in Africa, it's in Asia, anywhere you get your beans from.
Yeah.
Like, you could do so much more.
Totally.
And to me, I felt like, you know what? I'm tired of, no offense, of older white men coming into countries, brown earth colored people countries, and exploiting and not giving a shit about the people.
Right.
So I was like, no, if I'm gonna
they don't
do
give
this
a shit about the people here.
this is what I'm saying. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna really do something for the people. And like, so again, it just all aligned. And I started in 2022. We're actually right around this time is like at the 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
And now this is the chocolate.
I love it.
That's the
Wait, so
story.
you talk about schools, right? And like all these learning communities for Starbucks and Dunkin' that they obviously don't do. What's your vision?
My vision. So right now, even if you look in the back of this coffee, I'm a part of this nonprofit that gives back to abused women and orphans. My ultimate goal is, my biological mother's name is Carlota. I'd like to build Carlota House Shelters. shelters, because I feel like if my mother had the opportunity, because down there women are still being abused.
Yeah.
And unlike here in the United States, we have shelters, right? Like we have resources for women down, in Guatemala, it's still very like, it's a very mestizo,
third world country.
Yeah. And it's a very mestizo, like men are just very, like fucked up, right? And so I feel like if I can, and again, I'm blessed. My story is blessed. But if my biological mother had resources, maybe I wouldn't be here to tell the story, right?
Yeah,
because she could have helped me. So I'm trying to prevent other children from having my story, right? Of abuse and just everything that I went through. Because even though I'm blessed, and like I say, I'm happy now, I can honestly say maybe even my first 20, 30 years of my life, I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And being a mother made me become happy because my daughter was giving me unconditional love, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I wasn't happy because it was like I never felt more lonely in this world, So going back home, all that really just helped me be a better human being. And like you said, that was your baptism. It was like, that was my baptism,
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's how the coffee, and that's why it means a lot to me. And that's the coffee company story. And I wanted to bring, even via talk, I wanted to bring people together, because what do you do when you go to coffee houses, right? You talk, you have conversations.
Yeah.
And I really am in love with how people's stories and just your story and anybody else's story, like, and coffee brings people together. It's a universal love language.
I really admire how you're taking a struggling aspect of your life, like understanding it, manipulating it so it's healthy, and then helping other people, because so many people could just flounder in how exhausting all of that is. And you're doing wonderful things to change others' lives. So I love having these conversations, but a lot of times you just read about it or you see it right online or whatever. But to be sitting here with you while you talk about it, it's just really nice, and you're amazing.
Thank you.
That's great.
No, I mean,
do all the good things.
Thank you. And I mean, like what you were saying, like you want to be a beacon of hope, and that's exactly what I want to do too. Not just for my people in Guatemala, but for women or single. I've been on welfare. I've been all these things, and people who say I can't do this, or I don't know how to own a brand, or I don't know how to start a business. Listen, I didn't even finish college, so. You can do anything you want in this world,
especially in America.
Why
not?
And that's what I'm saying. Like to me, in the United States,
you built your legacy, you built your own happiness.
Yes,
that's admirable. Like you said, for the first 20, 30 years of your life, you were not happy.
No, I wasn't. And no matter,
you can't count on nobody for your happiness.
No, but yourself.
You did
True.
It.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, and my daughter, again, and the child shall lead. Like even though we're mothers, in my circumstance, my daughter really raised me. She raised me. Like she would always like, Mom, come on, Mom, step it up, Mom, or like, I was like, oh shit, I gotta.
What a good daughter.
Even you.
I'm like,
You were the child.
Yeah, I was the child. So I'm saying my daughter was like, step it up, Mom. Like, even when I was like, shit, I gotta step it up. Like, she literally would, before online, she'd print out, she's like, I need you to make this meal. And it'd be this like 5-star meal. So she's like made me be a better cook. And like, she was like, I need this. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta work harder. Like it was like she was so demanding and wasn't letting it down. The only thing she didn't demand me on was school. She was so amazing and smart. And I remember it was like 5th grade. I'm like, oh baby, what are you working on? She's like, she called me, Mimi, let's be honest, you're never gonna help me with school. And I was like, okay. And she's like,
you're right.
She goes, but when there's an art project, I'll come to you. I was like, okay. I'm like, I'm glad we know my strengths and weaknesses here, But by the way, happy birthday. Try the chocolate.
Yes.
Can you try it?
Yes. I love.
Here, you try it too.
Who is this?
That's my orphan picture.
So I love
that's
it.
her. Yeah, so that's my orphan picture, my original one. And what we did is we put the Mayan tapestry over it.
Yeah.
And the hieroglyphics in the back. On my daughter's birthday, January 5th. And and October 10th.
Cool.
So yeah, tell me, you guys. Oh, they're trying it.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna
so
also
exciting.
use my phone and video you guys for the first time.
Oh my god, it smells so good.
Right. I didn't even realize the details with the hieroglyphics.
Yeah,
that's so
and the colors. And if you notice, there's the little Via chain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did.
I've seen that.
And the reason I did that too is because, like a lot of immigrants, hip hop raised me, and I learned English through music. So I wanted to but go ahead, tell me what you think.
Oh my gosh, it's so smooth. It's like wine. It's got a nice kick of flavor at the end instead of at the front.
It is very strong. If you
is.
like dark chocolate. I do like it though.
It reminds me of cacao powder.
I was gonna say, it does taste
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
look at the back, what it says. The ingredients.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Just
Cacao.
that,
Yeah.
basically.
Cacao,
Yeah, it's 70,
butter, mass. and-
75% cacao.
Oh, I'll be up all night solid.
Right, this is just like drinking a cup of coffee, probably. Is there?
This is going to go on my
Listen.
family charcuterie board.
Ooh.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so you guys like it? You recommend it?
Yes.
Where
Okay.
can we get it?
Right now on my website.
Okay.
So via GuatemalaCoffee.com.
Yay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
Love
So
it.
is there anything
love
else
it.
that you want to leave us with?
No, I think if anyone is just done with where they're at, they have outlet of therapy, they have outlet of fitness, they don't know what to do, and they're skeptical about spirituality. Well, you too. We're both here to help, right? That's what we're here for.
I'm a
And-
servant. I tell people all the time I'm a servant.
Yeah. I'm here to help you change your life.
Okay.
Ideally. If you need help staffing and restructuring your business, awesome. But like that's not why I'm here today. I'm here today because I want to help people be better human beings. So the future of what chaos we're in now can be a tad more aligned.
Right.
But if I can change my whole entire life in literally 5 months and do things I always thought was a dream and live in this dreamlike state every day, everyone else can do it. But I'd like to instill that trust in themselves and me. So
I'm glad.
That's
And
what I'm
before
here
we
for.
end, I'm glad that you said that because I'm going to just end off on that. I think it's trust that a lot of people lack in themselves.
Yep.
They don't believe or trust in themselves to say, I can do it.
Yep. You need a safe space. I'd like to be your safe space. So
Oh,
I'm here if
okay.
you need me.
Okay, so where can we find you at?
You can Instagram is the best. I'm on there 24/7.
Tell everybody the people again.
It's at I am Stinalicious. So it's IAMSTINALICIOUS. Fun little side note. When I was a go-go dancer, my name was Stinalicious. So that's where that came from.
In your past life.
Yeah, in my past life.
Pre-baptism.
And then that's linked to my Facebook, so you can find me on there.
Wait, and real quick though, and nobody from the business world has been like, Stinalicious? I'm just saying.
That's me.
Okay.
Stinalicious. Yep.
Because I'm like, do I really want Stinalicious to be restructuring my business
shop
with?
Yes, you do, because it'll be successful. The end.
I'm just saying this is how people are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's good though that your name hasn't affected you.
No, not at all. It's Stina. I mean, I am Stinalicious. That's what you're getting.
Yeah.
If you're getting anything else, you're not getting me.
You're getting
and
your
it's
true
not gonna
authentic
work.
self. I love that.
Right.
Listen, I'm fun. I'm pink. I'm bubbly. What's Stinalicious? She's a friggin' vibe. That's what she is. So once you get to know me, you'll understand it. Everyone loves it. Get on board or get out.
I love it. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming, and
Her
thank
work
you so
space
much.
herself.
I hope
I
you
love
enjoyed. Cheers. Salute.
Yes.
Cheers. Salute.
Cheers.
Salud, salud.
Cheers.
Coffee and chocolate.